Hey, what's up guys? So we are going to be doing a deck profile. Now this is going to be 6 Samurais. This can be used in the September 2012 list, and it's got some pretty interesting tech, and it did get top 4 in OCG, so be expected to possibly see some 6 Samurai players try this out, because I think that it does kind of solve some problems that 6 Samurais have, which are getting over larger monsters. So first off, I'll go over the idea of why I'm thinking he's playing Black Soldier. So basically, as you guys know, 6 Samurais, they can't get over big monsters too easy. Sometimes they'll have to remove counters from Gateway, but you know, there's also Inishi, which can technically bounce back. And the thing is, that is their problem, and so I think this player decided, you know what, I'm going to main Black Soldier, I'm going to main Inishi. If you guys don't know Inishi, he's kind of like a Chaos Sorcerer, but he destroys rather than removes. So you banish 2 6 Samurais, and then you target one face-up monster on the field, and you destroy that target, and then you can't attack during that turn. So it doesn't remove, it just destroys, which is not as good in my opinion, but he still is a light target, so he can work relatively well. With the, you know, getting rid of like Spirit Reaper is just kind of key sometimes, because that card can stall 6 Samurais for quite some time. So yeah, pretty good card. And then, you know, main decking Black Soldier was also pretty interesting. I feel like there's not really enough darks. I mean, I know that Xian is dark, and you can make Xian really easy, so I'm thinking that majority of the time this player probably removed Xian to make Black Soldier. There's also Iru to you know, bring out, and so that's interesting. And you know, you can get out with Kageki, because Kageki becomes 1700 when there's another 6 Samurai on the field. So pretty interesting choice, and it does allow you to like exceed, and then you know, once you know it goes to the graveyard, you have the dark. So that said, there's also something interesting. There was no hand in the main deck, which is, you know, something that, you know, some people don't like. But there's no Dark Hole, which majority of players I think would agree with me that Dark Hole should be in nearly every deck. And if anything, you could possibly take out maybe a Kageki if you wish, or you can take out a Grandmaster. But to keep the deck just like the original, besides the extra deck. I'll get into the extra deck later, and I'll explain why I changed it. It's just because 6 Samurais can loop. I'll put a link in the annotation you guys can check out if you want to see how to loop with 6 Samurais in September. But that said, yeah, I would recommend playing Dark Hall, but for the sake of keeping the deck original, the main deck at least, the 40 cards, I'm going to keep it the way it was because it's interesting and I think it's really cool. So that said, let's finally get started with the deck profile. So first off, Black Soldier, that's the interesting tech. I think it is very good. Black Soldier gets rid of the problem that, you know, 6 Samurais can't get over everything, and 6 Samurai is a deck that can swarm really fast, and if you can top that with a Black Soldier on top of like Xian and then your Kizans, you can pretty much guarantee yourself you're going to go for game. And then we have Triple Veiler, because I know Inzectors are really popular in OCG, but in a few more days they probably won't be so popular. But yeah, and Veiler's just still overall solid card, plus it works relatively well when you need to get lights in the graveyard for Black Soldier. Next up, 1 Elder, which was interesting. I felt like this card was pretty good, comboed really well with Semitism, but this player decided, you know, I don't need it, which is pretty interesting. I usually see at least 2 of these, just because it works really well, again, with a Semitism. But this guy plays it a little bit differently, and I like some of the choices. It's just kind of cool. Then we have Inishi, which we talked about, which gets rid of bigger monsters, and you know, it's just a pretty decent card. Plus, it's a light. Next up, Grandmaster. You know, I don't. Sometimes Grandmaster's dead. Sometimes he's really good because it lets you overextend. And then if you can, you know, have a Xian plus a Grandmaster and a, you know, double Kizan, you can, you know, go for lots of damage really quick. Next up, Gores, which is interesting because I felt like 6 Samurais was kind of a deck where you usually, you know, had a lot of spell and traps like on the field. I don't know how viable Gores was, but this guy's only playing 6 trapped, and everything is pretty much usable immediately, so I don't think he can really have like a dead card. So I guess that could be his reason for Gores. Plus Gores, most likely it was just because he wanted more dark targets for Black Soldier to remove. So that's my guess of the reason. And then he played 3 Kagemusha to, you know, get out his combos. Plus, it is a tuner, so that is why he's also pretty good. Next up, 1 Inishi, which is also a light, so he also does protect a little bit. So during either player's turn, once you get him out, you can play 2 6 Samurai monsters from your graveyard to select 1 face-up monster on the field and return it to the hand. And you can only use this effect once per turn, but you'll have to control 2 or more 6 Samurai monsters. And if you have 2 or more, I'm sorry, he gains an extra 500 attack. So you can use the effect as soon as he comes out. It just to gain the 500 boost, you'll have to have 2 more 6 Samurais. So keep that in mind. So it's not bad, you know, you get that extra damage in at 2200, not bad. But again, yeah, he probably ran him because he's also light, and he's also a pretty decent card. Next up, 2 Kageki. Interesting to see this. I know some players were playing 0 Kageki because they don't like Kageki getting effect failure, because I admit that getting this card effect failure does hurt, especially if you can't summon anything after. It becomes a problem. Next up, 3 Kizan, because Kizan, it does help a lot with the swarming and the exceeding. Next up, Iru. That was another dark target that our player had to possibly make Blockless Soldier a lot easier. And then we have Zanji here. And I wish this card was 1800. This card's actually pretty decent. I'll show you guys its effect. So, at the start of damage step, if this card attacks a face-down monster, destroy that monster immediately without flipping it face up. You'll have to control another 6 samurai to resolve this effect. And then it has the, if this would be destroyed, you can destroy another 6 samurai instead. But this card would be okay if it was 1800, just because 1800 makes a little bit more of a difference in the game. Running over Lila and stuff like that. But pretty good effect, I would say. The only downside is you'll have to have another 6 samurai. And if the card was 18, again, like, it would work so much better, I feel like, because Kizan, plus you can use it with Zanji. But Zanji, pretty interesting card, because you can get Zanji out really easy when you use the Septism. So we have 1 Zanji. This card's okay, so if you control another 6 samurai, if this card attacked, destroy the monster that this card attacked, at the end of the damage step. So you'll take the damage, but, it's basically like you get rid of both your monsters. So, I mean, if there's anything big that, 6 samurai have a problem against, you can, like, kind of crash it, essentially. You'll still take the damage, but, at least gets rid of the monster. Plus, it's a light. And I think that was his main reason. And then we have triple Asceticism. Pretty good card, combos really well, especially in this deck, because you have a lot more options, I would say. Because majority of the time, it's just either Kagemusha or Elder, and then you just make Shien from there. Next up, Gateway, because it's Gateway. Heavy Storm, Reborn, and then Triple Space Typhoon, because I'm sure this guy wants to OTK. It looks like he can do it really well, especially if he can go off with six Samurais, maybe special summon 2 Kizans after a Grandmaster, and then get a BLS or a Inishi out in the field and pretty much secure the game. So it looks like a really aggressive style. And then we have the Reinforcement Army and Double Smoke Signal, triple 6 Sam United. And then we have the interesting tech card, Backs to the Wall. So you pay life points, so you only have 100 left, and you special summon as many 6 samurai monsters from your graveyard as possible. You cannot special summon more than 1 monster with the same name, or a monster that has the same name as a monster you already control. So there's a lot of mix in this, so I don't think that will be too much of a problem. But the thing was, I could kind of see this card being not so great after you've removed with BLS, after you remove with Inishi, after you've removed with this variant of Inishi, because there are 2 Inishis. These are both Inishi, but yeah, so I'm saying, like, after you remove all the 6 samurais, I don't know how viable this card is. I felt like double-edged sword technique would be an interesting card as well. I know that technically you can swarm a lot harder with this, although with all the removal going on, I don't know how many you're going to be able to special summon. But he topped with it, so congratulations to him. I wish I could give you guys his name, but I can't read OCG. I can't read Japanese. Next up, he's playing 2 Compulse, and then the Solemn Brigade. As far as the extra deck, and I'll explain why I changed his extra deck completely, just because I would say if you are playing 6 Samurais, if you want to play against the meta, you're going to want to have the best deck, and I think that the way to do that is you're going to use the loop, which I don't really like loops, but I'll admit that it's the best way to play 6 Samurais. If you can successfully pull it off, you do basically win. So that is done with this card over here, Evil Swarm Ouroboros, and he with combo with Daegu, so Admiral, and I'll put a link in an annotation if you guys want to see how to loop, because it's a really long explanation. But basically, you get the Kizans out, and then you just overlay for these, and then you just send 1 random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, which is really good because it's not discarded, so Dark Worlds will not get their effect. And also in the extra deck, playing a Roach because it's another dark target, and Utopia because another light. But I think the light targets are okay for him. He probably didn't have a problem with lights, it's just the dark. He probably had to remove Shien, which is unfortunate. I was almost thinking this guy could have played Return from the Different Dimension. I mean, you have a lot of removal, and most of the removal is 2 cards. Like, this removes 2, this removes 2, and this removes 2. So I'm thinking maybe if you guys want to try out Return from the Different Dimension, you guys can try that out instead of Backs to the Wall. Because again, I think that sometimes if you remove too many 6 Samurais, this card loses its effectiveness, and at that point maybe you only have 2 monsters, and you can just go for a double-edged sword technique. But yeah, that said, pretty much you'll need triple of these, Evil Swarm Ouroboros. I would recommend playing Excalibur. Excalibur's light, plus it gets over anything pretty much. It can't really get over 5-headed, but 5-headed won't see too much play now that Speech Fusion is going to be gone. Then we're playing just Leviathan, and actually, you know, what'd be good in here. I just noticed this card's probably pretty good. You can probably put this card and you can take out whatever you feel like that you won't make. Maybe you won't really make this. You can probably go for this, because I'm thinking now with all the removal, it'd be good to go for Levier, maybe get something back. Would be interesting. But as far as extra deck, I mean, you can make Zen mains relatively easy. If you were playing hand, I will recommend playing Dark Hole, but you don't have to play hand of the Six Samurai. But yeah, if you were playing hand, you can make Zen mains really easy, and sometimes I know that sometimes you'll activate like a 6M United and then a little Space Typhoon immediately, and then you don't really have any more options because maybe you just don't have the cards. You have a whole bunch of protection. You could just go for the Kageki and hand and then just try to protect them, or you can go for like a Zen main, which kind of protects itself. So that's pretty good. I recommend playing a Trade Beast because there are some decks where if you go first turn to Trade Beast, you can win. But yeah, basically all you really need, to be honest, is Shien, and then you'll need the Evil Swarm cards because that's basically what you'll make. He did play his extra deck differently, but I'm going to recommend, again, because I think any deck that can loop, the potential for it is just too good not to at least have the potential to do it. And basically the Six Samurais, you're pretty much going to make Shien, and then you're going to make maybe Naturia Beast at certain times, or Catastor, depending on what deck you're playing against. And I do recommend Roach as well, just because it'll have a really good matchup against Agents, because Agents will be popular. So yeah, this has been the deck profiles for the Six Samurai deck that got 4th place in OCG, and it ran Black Soldier. Something that I would probably do. But yeah, congratulations to him for playing an interesting deck, and you can be expected to see some people try this out now that I've uploaded it, as well as that it has topped in the OCG. So thanks for watching, guys. Asian Eyes White Dragon, signing out.